Dude, I don't get this. Oh, wait 1 minute.
Alright, it's live.
We're live from Madison Square Garden. This is not Madison Square Garden. Imperial Esports talk, a show of people and things. This is Blue, and we got Swifter and Scruffy Z, the leaders, organizers, and masters behind the esports organization. Take it away, guys.
Hello. I'm Swifter, and we'll kind of winging this, so just bear with us. It's our first episode, our first talk show, so just be patient with us. And as you can see, Scruffy has a beautiful picture of himself because his video isn't working, so you'll have to deal with his little eyebrow flick.
His little eyebrow. One little eyebrow.
It looks like I still got both there, but alright.
All right, so ICS just finished up, and that's why we're doing this. Obviously, not streaming tonight. No games tonight. No games this week. The recap going on. Scruffy, you have a lot of background noise. With the recap going on, with the playoffs going on, we do have a 1 week break. It's just to give some teams a little bit of time to prepare and stuff. And I know a lot of the teams are preparing as we speak. Some teams are scrimming each other right now, which is nice. But yeah, ICS recap. What to say? Definitely some surprises. Titans obviously losing their undefeated streak with just like one game. That kind of sucks. They ended up going 23-1, finishing 23-1 in the season. So still like really good, but didn't get the perfect season. Then Crown, Asylum, and Tide are the three other teams in the playoffs right now. So that's what we're looking at. Who are you guys looking at as far as surprises that made the playoffs? You guys surprised by anybody or?
Wait, real fast. As far as the 23-1, is that games or is that points?
23-1 games. Yeah, 23 wins, 1 loss.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Yeah, 24.
Yeah, so I mean,
defeated.
when we talked about, in the early season, you could pretty much see, looked like the top half and the bottom half developed pretty early. So I think, it was top 4 were pretty much top 4, and bottom 4 were trying to scrap their way up there, but I still think they were. So I think we had a pretty good idea from the, even like second, third week, that these 4 teams were going to make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was just a whole lot of Imperial, not Crown, the Titans just taking over everything, really shown through. We saw them a whole lot, too, on stream, so they're one of the teams that I kept up with a whole bunch. I really enjoyed watching Crown throughout the season as well. I feel like they showed it was some games where they had a really average performance and some games where they started to pull a little bit farther ahead. But yeah, I really think that there's a lot of these teams that we could have seen a lot more from, but with it being the first season, still working out a lot of the kinks, and we had a whole lot of that the end of season. Cut that out back there. The end of the season roster swaps, which I think really changed things up. So it's going to be interesting the way things go into playoffs.
Yeah, to be honest, like I was really surprised by the close race for 4th in the very end. As Scruffy said, like throughout the beginning of the season, for the first like 3 to 4 weeks, we kind of already knew who the top was. Like it was Titans, Crown, Templars, which is Asylum, Esports, which was Tide. Those were the top 4 for like basically the whole entire season. You had Legion kind of up there for the first and second week, but then they kind of dropped, and it was just that solid 4. But honestly, it became really, really tight in the very end when Tide kind of started to struggle a bit, and you even seen the points gap. I mean, Titans at 34, Crown at 26, Asylum at 26, then Tide next to 18, 8 points down from 3rd place. So originally Tide was in contention for actually 2nd place. At the end, I think, of week 4, they were sitting in 2nd place. Then they fell all the way down to 4th and actually 8 points out of 3rd and 2nd technically. But yeah, so it actually became close, and that was surprising to me. I mean, they did have that roster change mid-season, which probably affected a little bit of the synergy, but yeah, surprised that Legion and Black almost made a comeback
Yeah, I
to the
mean,
season.
the way the season really worked out was top teams, Titans beat everyone, Crown and Templars beat everyone else below them. It pretty much fell down the ladder. Like
Yeah,
there weren't many upsets. To be honest, there weren't many three-game series even. There's only a couple. I'd say the only big upset is Vanquish over Titans
yeah,
that last week there. But otherwise, everything pretty much just fell into pecking order. Um, just right down the ladder. And I thought that was really interesting because, League's such a snowbally game now, but the top teams just really showed their dominance.
Yeah, we even saw quite a bit of a changing meta throughout this too. I think like at the very beginning of season 6 when we had the huge Graves and Quinn influx, and then from there it sort of moved into what it is now, where we have more of these unstoppable tank meta, where I feel like Malphite and Nautilus top and a lot of these other things are really the ones that are shining through and carrying a lot of these games. So it's really interesting how things have really developed in the season and how teams are adapting to it. Especially, I really like. So I'm gonna get a little wordy here, but this is my soapbox. I really enjoy the league and how we've really shown the talent that we have for mid laners and top laners. I feel like
yeah,
Yep.
pretty much throughout, like we have all the pretty much almost on every team, the mid and top laners have just been absolutely phenomenal, and with some really big jungle plays too. Not to say the bot lanes are bad or anything like that, but really the big flashy plays that we've seen from majority of these teams have been from mid and top lane. And I really think it's
Yeah,
really cool the
and
way it's happened.
just because of that, because obviously they can do a little flashier plays. It's hard to notice the other plays, but yeah, I agree with you. Like we have guys like um, that are main Azirs, Yasuo mains, um, some interesting mains that really once if they get their champion, they can shine. Um, it's really good to see that.
yeah. I really like that point about the solo laners. Honestly, like the list of mid laners that we had that were just dominant this whole entire season, like Ibis, Colombian Deft, Holy KRP, um, I totally forget a silence mid laner. But anyway, like we just had some
Phantom
solid,
Dynasty
yeah, Phantom, I think.
or Dynasty, yeah,
One
one
of
of them.
those two. They were just like really solid this entire season, and especially KRP. I mean, hats off to him. He did an extremely good job just dominating and helping Titans and really carried them. Not carried them fully because the whole team is good, but he definitely had a part in carrying them. And then, yeah, you got to give it to top laners as well. I saw an evolution of top laners throughout the season. I think they started off somewhat weaker, and then as the meta changed into these like carry top laners, like the Fiora, like the Quinn, we ended up seeing a little bit of that more and more in the ICS. And honestly, I like that the LCS is actually affecting the ICS as far as meta and how it's changing. I think a lot of players are watching the LCS, a lot of teams are watching LCS and kind of comparing that and what they can do and bringing it into ICS. And you're seeing a lot of diverse play. You're seeing a lot of really good strategic play. And yeah, I'm excited for the playoffs, especially with the new meta with Kog'Maw coming in. I wonder if that'll be picked up for playoffs. Obviously, with Kog'Maw coming in, Param is becoming a really good support to pick. And
Hmm.
yeah, so I'm excited for how the meta is going to change for playoffs and how teams going to adapt to it.
Yeah, off that, like, I mean, we do have high elo players. Obviously, they can't. I would say we can argue that some champions for some people are as good as uh, top tier players in North America. But yeah, off that, like even with the LCS meta trickling down, these guys are good enough that they're able to play, these champs um, to a good ability. So that's why I think that can trickle down pretty easily to our league, since we do have such good players.
Yeah, definitely. We haven't really seen, although just to piggyback a little bit off of the champion picks, we've also seen a lot of cool things in this league where the off meta picks.
Yeah.
For instance, let's see, what are the big ones we had was Raisin Lee, R.I.P. The Shaco picks. We had the let's see, there was a Shaco picks. We had the Singe top lanes. Um, Gosh, what else do we have? there's been a couple other like kind of different off meta picks. A lot of the stuff coming out of the jungle, we saw like
Yeah, I
some
mean,
of the Zac coming through, which wasn't exactly like super popular in the beginning. It's just slowly been coming back.
yeah,
Um,
Rosin rolled over the league with that.
yeah, exactly. There was like a lot of these like really off meta stuff that was really interesting to see come through, and a lot of these guys, like for instance, I think it's the singed only guy. Isn't that's merch, right?
Dasani.
Is that Dasani?
Dasani,
Oh yeah,
yeah, it's
Dasani.
Dasani.
Yeah.
When he subbed
And
in, yeah,
Giorgio plays it.
yeah,
Giorgio
Giorgio,
plays
Giorgio,
it
that's
too.
who I was thinking of. Yeah, Giorgio being like a
yeah.
singed only player, so he comes through and like dominates. So it's kind of cool to see like some one tricks come through and bring out their cool stuff in the league. I always enjoy seeing that.
Talk about one tricks. I have to bring up probably my favorite one trick, and in this whole entire league was, and he's not a one trick. He can play other supports, but his main one was Morgana, and that's Full Metal Echo. His Morgana was unbelievable this entire season, and teams, because they were facing Titans, had to ban out the Astral, had to ban out the Lee Sin when Razin was playing, had to ban out all these other champions that they ended up having to leave up the Morgana over and over again, and Full Metal Echo got it like time after time after time, and he absolutely dominated on the Morgana. He knew how to roam properly, he knew how to engage properly, and he knew how to use his Black Shield to disengage. So yeah, Full Metal Echo did a really really good job with the Morgana. I liked that.
Dude,
As far as
I can't help but laugh. But you said they banned out Raisin's Lee Sin. That guy was so bad on Lee Sin. He'd even tell you he's bad on Lee Sin.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty
I know,
funny.
but people still banned it out. That's the thing. Like,
Yeah, it's because he picked it every time, just because the
yeah,
champion's OP. But yeah, that guy was really bad on him.
shots fired. Shots fired.
He knows it. Big boo boo.
All right, let's get into playoff talk. But before we do playoff talk, we're actually going to bring in one of our coaches. I should actually add him on Skype so we can bring him in.
Jay or Lawler.
Lawler, yeah, coach of, I was
Crown.
gonna say Titans, but it's Crown, yeah. Let's see if he answers.
Boop, boop.
What's up, guys?
Okay, cool.
I'm here.
Hi. Hi. I didn't hear you there, but all right. So, starting off with the playoff talks, are you happy with how your team finished out?
Our team?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we finished off the season pretty well. We had a bit of a letdown series against Titans, but they're a really solid team. So, I mean, I haven't really planned against them because I think it's prudent to just look at the first series first.
Yeah.
So, and we got a little bit of a preview with Asylum. So, I mean, that was an interesting series because I think the second game you can kind of throw out the window.
Yeah.
I don't know if you
Yeah,
guys
their-
remember they played the
their picks,
Yasuo
yeah.
bot.
Yeah. The
Yep.
Yasuo ADC. Yeah.
And the first game we were also using a sub jungler, so it's kind of hard to gauge how the teams would face off. But it's a team that we respect, and it's a team that has a lot of talent. So you can't really take any team lightly at this point of this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really good series. Because that was a fight for second place. You know, actually it meant something. And yeah, you guys, Crown showed up, and that was impressive after losing the first game and coming back and reverse sweeping them. So
Yeah. That was really really.
Yeah,
well
I think some of the players felt like maybe it's a series that didn't matter, but I think going into the playoffs, knowing that we will face them, it was important to. I think it's worth more than the points necessarily because you do get a bit of a confidence boost. If one team got swept one way or the other, it would have been, it would have possibly casted
Been
some
in the
doubt
back of
on
your mind,
one of the
yeah.
teams. So
yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's definitely better to be on the winning side of that. But with that said, it's a new series. It's a best of 5 series, which is different dynamic than a best of 3. So you have to prepare a little bit more, and you expect that people will show up a little bit more. They're not going to run Yasuo bot comp, I'd imagine. So.
yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna ask. So you got second place over third. So you do get to pick which side you want to be on. Have you picked that yet, or? are you gonna-
I think we have an idea, but we don't know. I haven't talked with the team exactly yet
Oh,
on which
okay.
side. I think there's actually advantages to both sides. It's not. I know in the past, maybe a season or 2 seasons ago, it was blue side clearly had a clear advantage for various reasons, but I don't know if that's necessarily the case. I think it depends on the team and
Yeah.
what your strategy is. But you should really, on the best of five, we should have strategies for both sides.
Both sides,
So
yep.
we don't know yet, but I think we'll let them know as soon as we find out.
Yeah, one
Awesome.
thing I did want to ask you, coming in second, what do you think of Tide? Obviously, Rosin left.
Tide or Titans?
Titans.
I mean Titans, sorry, yeah. Titans.
Titans is a team we're familiar with. I think every team's familiar with one another, but we're familiar with the players because we've played with them, against them, but like even just normal games
Yeah,
or
yeah,
solo
yep.
queue games, and even Asylum, we actually there's quite a bit of. Actually, one week we didn't have our bot lane, and their bot lane almost played for us for one of the games. So it's a team that we're familiar with. But Titans, it's hard to gauge. Titans obviously have amazing mid game, and they know how to close out leagues really well, which is a
Yeah.
scary thing as a team. But but it's also weird because they've shown the tendency to lose out early game,
Yep.
Hmm.
which
Yeah.
kind of makes you think that if they do win early game, that they'll just be able to close out games much easier. But they're a really talented team, but they also practice a lot. So that's a team that's actually very in tune with one another. Um, I think it's not a fluke that they're so good as a team because they do play. I would imagine they practice the most out of all the teams.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. I do have a question about if you were to beat Asylum, and your predictions on the Tide versus Titans series. Who do you think is going to come up top in the Tide and Titans, and what's your series score for that?
Um, I think I think that would be not really sure what Tide is doing to prepare, but knowing the Titans, I think it would be prudent to say that they would be favored in that series. I'm not exactly sure how whether it would be. I'm gonna guess 3-0 or 3-1. Maybe Tide can squeak out a game, but uh, it really depends how much work they've done and how good they are as a team. And I really don't have a gauge for how good they are. I know how good Titans are, but I don't know how good Tide is right now. So
Yeah.
it'd be interesting. I mean, it's just I think they could still take games off them, but um, if they have really good pick and ban and good early strategies, then maybe they can. But I would say that Titans are favored in that series.
Mhm.
Yeah. What about
Yep.
your series? Can you make any
Um,
predictions on your
I
series?
It'll be a good one. I think it'll be a good one to watch either way. Um, I feel like it. I kind of see 5 games written all over this series. I think it can go back and forth. I'm not really sure. I mean, you can anticipate certain draft strategies, but you never really know until you actually play the games. So
Yeah.
I think momentum will be important in terms of getting the first game, and having one team react to the other team in terms of pick and bans and what happened in the previous game. I feel like a lot of these 5 game series that one team usually sets the tempo in terms of controlling pick and ban.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that the first game will be important, just like any series. But it'll be interesting either way. They have really talented players, so it's a team that we respect. But I try to tell my players all the time, like respect everyone and fear no one, which is
Ooh.
I think
That's like
the right.
Oh, senpai say,
yeah.
senpai lala.
I think that's a mentality we still need to keep. So I
Nice.
think our players are prepared. Hopefully, we can use this week to prepare even more, and they're really committed and focused. So we'll see how it goes. I think it'll just be entertaining either way, and stressful.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
Fantastic. I did have a question. I wanted to try to figure out, get this going into a negative discussion. So, if you had to call out another team for being like your easiest opponent and toughest, or your easiest opponent. There we go. Should we do that? Can you
Easiest.
throw it out there? Who's your
Yeah.
easiest?
It's kind of hard because we played a lot of games at this point.
Yeah.
I think we've had some easier games in terms of how the games played out. Um, I don't know. I don't really. Out of respect for the teams, I don't want to say.
This
I don't want to
team
say
wants to
easiest
start.
team.
Blue's trying to start
I would
some
say.
trouble.
I would
Good
say this.
answer.
I thought Vanquish was going to be a lot better than they were this season.
Ooh, yeah. Same
Um,
here. So did I.
Because
I mean, they're the
I
only
think
team that did take a game off Titans, so
yeah, which actually isn't completely surprising to me because I think they're individually they're really good. So I still don't understand what happened exactly. Um, I think a lot of the teams, if they had like slightly better pick and bands preparation, then they would have given themselves a better chance
Yeah.
against any teams. I found that some of the pick and bands, I know how. I mean, some of the coaches have disclosed like how they do pick and bands, and I thought it was a little bit. It's not as cohesive as you need it to be. I think it's a bit of a trap to let individual players. I don't know, to not have a team strategy and to have an understanding as a team what you want to do, as opposed to some other teams where they allow individual players to pick certain champions.
Yeah.
I think feedback, like getting feedback from your laners and everybody on your team, is important. But to have like a disconnected pick and ban strategy like that, I think it's not good for the team.
Lawler calling out other coaches' strategies. I like
Just
it.
it's. I mean, it's more of like
No, it's okay, Lawler. We got you. We're gonna start a beef thread and everything on our Reddit. No, that's good. I have one more question for you, unless these guys have any other questions.
Yeah, go for it.
No? All right. One last question. Do you think you can win it all? Do you think you can beat Asylum and then beat whoever? Well, you said you thought Titans would win. Do you think you can win this whole tournament?
I think our team is capable of winning the whole tournament. It'll require very good play above what we've played in the past, so our best play, and a little bit of luck. But that's just I think the nature of the game. But I'm confident that we have the individual players and the team strategies to win everything. But like I said, I haven't even looked past this first series because I think it can be a bit of a detriment. So and it would suck to prep for Titans and then not play them. So
Yeah. Well,
Very true.
how do you? I have questions. How do you feel about this our series going in? I'm sure you guys look forward to it.
oh,
you can start it out, Swifter.
honestly, Crown versus Asylum, I really think Crown has the edge, and the reason why I say that is because Asylum mechanically I think is better. But this game, like the meta right now, is so focused around rotations and team synergy. If you have one bad rotation, that can cost you the game, and we saw that so many times in so many series this year. And I think if Asylum, I mean, sure, yeah, they might win the early game, which we even saw in the series against you guys. They ended up winning the early game a couple times, but they ended up losing the games. And I think it's because Crown, you guys have way better synergy as a team. And I honestly think Asylum won't be able to keep up with the rotations and won't be able to keep up with the synergy that you guys have. So, in my opinion, unless you guys would have to like, I don't know, you guys had to really screw up your synergy or just go on tilt to lose the series. I still think it would be close. I predicted Crown to come out probably 3-1, 3-2. I think it will go to 4 to 5 games. I don't think it will be a sweep either way on both sides. I think both teams are very good, but yeah, that's my personal opinion. What about you, Scruffy?
Yeah, so like you were saying, Asylum, I think just off they have to win off their straight mechanical play. Either that be early game or late game. I think you're right, Switch. I don't think they have the synergy that Crown has since you guys have been playing together for the whole season, right? You almost have the same roster.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah, more or less. So yeah, and Asylum's obviously they have been very dominant with this new team, but I think that bases off a lot of their just gifted mechanically and good players individually, and they just win lane and can easily snowball it from there. But I think you guys can match up. Crown can match up well, and Crown wins off team synergy, and Asylum wins off outplaying mechanics. stuff like that. So it'll be a good series because you guys have very good team synergy, and Asylum is definitely has some of the better players in the league um,
Hmm.
in their respective positions, and obviously that's why they made it to in the playoffs. So
Hey, I got a quick thing real fast. So with Asylum, is every position pretty much new besides Skill
yeah,
Drizzle?
yeah, besides
Yes.
Skill Drizzle.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I haven't
I
seen these
think they
guys
might have.
play.
I think they might have a new jungler.
Oh,
Oh,
really? So
really?
even
Okay.
Skill Drizzle's out, huh?
Wow,
Yeah,
almost
really
got
new
the
team.
inside
I
scoop.
got the insights.
Jeez.
Inside
It's
scoop.
like the
Oh.
TIP switch. Anyway, yeah. So I don't really have any comment on because I haven't seen Asylum play pretty much at all, so I have no idea. I only know the way Crown plays, and I'm excited to see the game. You guys have really like solid players in every position. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
um,
their Asylum's individual play is actually obviously very good. Their bot lane has a lot of natural synergy because they duo with each other.
Hmm.
So it's not like they had to learn how to play with one another. So, but I think it's any team in the league. If you have a weak lane or a weak laning phase, you will get exposed quite a bit. So I'll say that with I know my players are listening. So with that said, like they've done a really good job of maintaining not only putting pressure on their lanes but also playing defensive when they need to. So
Yeah.
um, I I mean with that said, like I know their top laners high diamond one player and it's quite
Yep.
good. Like those a diamond one
Jabo.
player will just punish you for any mistakes you make almost.
Yeah.
So but I think individually they can hold their own. But like you said, it does go back to the team synergy aspect of it because the death timers are really punishing now. So
Yeah.
you can get a lot in a mid game fight or a late game fight. So
Yeah. All right. Do you have any last comments or
no, I don't.
anything?
I do not.
All right. All right.
Okay.
See you later, Lola.
All
Thanks
right.
for
Thanks.
tuning
Thanks for
in.
having me.
bye.
All right.
Deleted. All right, so moving forward, we're talking about some of this off-season stuff. So off-season, are we trying to get into
Whoa.
after playoffs?
Did we do our playoff predictions?
Did we already
Yeah,
do
come
that?
on, dude. We gotta do our playoff
Yeah,
predictions.
Oh, Saz. All
jumping
right.
ahead.
So playoffs. Sorry about that. So our playoff predictions. We already got a little bit of predictions there with Lawler talking about his series, and we know what he thinks about it. So let's jump off with it with Scruffy. Where are you putting it, man?
Well, the Crown of Silence series is really interesting because, like I said, Jubo's probably one of the best top laners. Um, but Merch is still, a great top laner. Um, and when I watched the Crown Asylum, it didn't really look like they clicked. Um, what am I going to say? Oh, Asylum, they played well in lane. Kind of tried a little troll comp second game. Um, wasn't exactly troll because it did make sense with Yasuo Gragas bot lane. But that didn't work out just because they didn't have, an 80 carry and stuff like that. So if they take the game seriously, they buckle down, and they just outplay all the lanes, just straight up, 1v1, 2v2, and their jungler can, hop in there and get them. That's why I think Asylum's going to win. Crown, on the other hand, can match up to Asylum very easily with their lane play. So I think, if they go even, out rotate, out, synergize jungle, support warding, get deep wards, stuff like that. I really think Crown can. I think Crown can take it. So that's my prediction: is 3-2 Crown, going all the way to Game 5. 3-2 Crown, and then on the other end, I'm going to say 3-2 or 3-1 Titans. I think Tide will sneak a game in there.
Ooh.
Um, So, yeah, I think Tide, just with that long a series, Titans has shown their weakness. So if Tide does a little research and, figures that out, I think they can sneak a game off. And if they get the right pick ban and take away, make sure to take away Yasuo, Azir, and take away all Titans power pick, I think Tide will find a game to sneak one off in there. So that's my prediction.
All right. Okay. Well, my prediction is probably I'll start with Titans and Tide. And I'll try to be as unbiased as I possibly can. I actually think this series is going to go one of two ways. And hear me out on this. I think it's either going to go 3-0 Titans or it's going to go 3-2 Tide. And the only reason why I say 3-2 Tide at all is because I think if Tide loses one or two games or if Titans lose one or two games to Tide, I think they're honestly just Tide will just have so much momentum that they'll be able to carry out the whole series and just win it all. Like I really, really think that because both teams have shown their weaknesses, and Titans is pretty evident, despite no team actually being able to take advantage of their weakness because they hide it very well and they're able to play around their weakness very well. I think if they start to tilt or if Tide gets momentum, I think they can honestly take the series. But on the other hand, realistically, I think it's going to be 3-0 Titans. I don't know if Tide will be able to catch the snowball. I don't know if Tide will be able to finish off a game when they have a lead like they've have before against Titans. And I don't even know if Titans will allow them to have a lead because I know talking to their coach or interim coach or whatever Sinofe is, I don't know. He's been saying they're working a lot on their micro game and on their early game, which is exactly what they kind of need to work on because their micro game is just really weak right now. And by weak, I mean like weaker than the rest of their game. In that thought, I think Titans will just take it 3-0. I think there's a very, very small percentage chance that Tide will take a couple games. But yeah, so that's Titans. Then as far as the other series goes, Crown versus Salem, as I already said, I think Crown will take it. I think Crown will take it 3-2. I think Crown just has better synergy. And I'm going to go as far as saying the finals will probably be Crown versus Titans. And I think Crown will take it. I think Crown will win it all. I really do. I think their synergy is really, really good. I think they have a lot to prove. Whereas Titans are playing kind of like, I don't know, I just like that underdog story, where teams are trying to prove something. And usually when you see a lot of that, unless you're Coup Tigers, you tend to lose or you tend to win. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be a close matchup. But I think Crown will take the whole championship series and win it all. I know I'll get a lot of slack for that from all the Titans players, but yeah, that's my predictions.
All right, hit it, Blue. You're up.
All right, hit you with this. So, all right, so out of these two matches, so we're going to have Imperial Crown and then Asylum, right? So Asylum,
Yep, formerly Templars.
And then who? Oh, formerly Templars, right.
Formerly Templars, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think out of this one, yeah, Crown definitely is going to take that easy. It's going to be a 3-0. Not really a problem for them. They just all that synergy. They're just going to have synergy for days. I'm going to ride that Crown hype train right there. However, on the other side, with the Tide and Titans, Titans, they're going to be a little shook after all these roster swaps. And they just have like these newcomers, Tide, the Rising Tide, coming through. Rising Tide's still going to lose 3-2. But on the rise, I think what it's going to be first game going to I'm going to call out even specific games. First game is going to be Tide. Second game is going to go to Titans because they always they always find their stride again. And then they're going to get overconfident, lose game 3. So it's going to be, and then they're just going to beat them the last 2 games. So I'll put money on that. If anybody wants to start a G2, what is it, G2A? Is that the one? No, Chirp.
Alpha Draft.
Alpha Draft, there you go. Does Chirp do gambling?
No, unfortunately.
They need to invest in that, but we'll get in there.
All right, we'll communicate that.
And then, yeah, so then Titans and Crown. Yeah, Titans are going to win. It'll be 3-1. I don't know how it'll go, but it'll be 3-1. Eventually they'll get one on it.
All right. So now let's move on to the off-season part. There you go, Bloop.
Oh, yeah. So off-season. Now, off-season, are we talking about what's happening in between playoffs or after playoffs?
After playoffs, right?
Here, I'll just hit what's going on for the next 2 months.
Yeah.
Jeez.
All right, so we're looking at
hitting the long term.
We're looking at playoffs this upcoming weekend plus start of next week. That's going to be semis, and that's going to put us with finals on the 6th of March with IML. I know we haven't talked much about IML, but IML promotion on the 5th of March. And then on the 7th, that's really when off season's going to start officially. And then we're looking at an all-star game the 14th and 15th.
I hope all you guys out there are marking your calendars for all this stuff.
Yep. And then we're looking at the
Especially the All-Star
start
game.
of ICS on the March 28th and IML on the 6th. So that's just some basic dates.
Which you can all find on our Reddit because it's all there. So
Yep.
subscribe to that.
Yeah, we shouldn't have to
'Cause-
read it, but that's okay.
Yeah. Is it? No. Oh, it is. It is. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So just little details in between the off season. So stuff besides dates. Obviously, off season is the time where teams are going to move and change up their rosters and stuff. So expect to see a lot of that. There's a couple teams who disbanded. Not going to say who. Atomic. But we're going to have to rebuild Atomic from the ground up. And then obviously the minor league teams come in with the expansion. That will be something else that will be unique. So we're actually going to go to 10 teams in the off season, and obviously we are looking at just like new additions and new points that we want to make, or not new points, new. Why can't I talk? Features that we want to add to the ICS, and there is also a post. If you guys want to see anything new, you can always comment on it. Comment on a post and on our Reddit thing. It's changes you want to see. I'm doing a lot of plugs to our Reddit, but no, honestly, do let us know what you want to do as far as the new season coming up, as long as it doesn't cost $1 bajillion. And yeah, that's kind of it for the off season. Expect a lot of drama with players moving.
Yeah.
Maybe.
With the off season, why don't we, Blue? I know you haven't really been around. But let's just talk about IML quick.
Oh yeah, we're still got a lot of IML stuff to go over.
Oh yeah, I have no idea about that IML thing. I hear it's really cool though.
All right. So this kind of ends our ICS segment. We're gonna kind of be jumping into IML stuff. Now with IML, I'll kind of head it up Scruffy, and then you can talk. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. So IML right now they're going on in their 3rd week out of 6. No, out of 4. 4 weeks. So they're actually almost halfway. They're over halfway done already. So really, really quick seasons. Quick season for the IML, obviously, because we want to get their team to. We want to get the 2 teams up into the expansion. So that's something we want to do right away. So they are actually, in their 3rd week coming up on this Wednesday and Thursday. And right now there's like a really, really big gap in the standings as far as the 1st and 2nd place teams. Then the 3rd and 4th place teams tend to be a little bit lagging behind. Obviously our top 2 teams that we're looking at right now is SLD and Team Exile, both sitting 7-2 and 8-0. SOD is looking to pull a Titans and actually see if they can go undefeated, which I guess wouldn't be Titans, but they're looking to see if they can go undefeated with the full 16-0 record. Then we have Gromp Life, which is kind of sitting in the middle. They're 4-5. So you see a big gap from 7-2 to 4-5. Then there's 3 teams tied for a 4th place spot with Rise of the Phoenix, Midnight Gaming, and Against All Odds. So there's quite a bit of traffic in the bottom half, and it is the top 4 teams that make it to playoffs. So a lot of things are going to shape during this week, and a lot of teams are looking to kind of set the tone for week 4. Obviously, the last week, you want to kind of get a little bit of ground on the other teams before week 4 comes up, because then you're running out of time. So that's kind of that. Yeah, Scruffy, go.
All right. So yeah, with we have some really interesting concepts in IML. We have Exile with the with the 10-man roster. Little insight, they just do that because all the players can't play on a day. But they do use it to their advantage because that's 10 players that the other team has to research if they want to. I think that's a really interesting concept with how strong they're looking right now. it's looking like they're in contention for that promotion spot there. So if that makes it to the ICS, that'll be interesting to see how that works out. Because I know coaches in the ICS do a lot of research. Um, that was just really I mean, SLD is obviously very dominant. This week they have a big game versus Exile. This series will really, determine who's going to go for that first place because they only play each other once, I believe. So this SLD versus Team XL game, excuse me, on Wednesday. On Wednesday, will really determine who's gonna, get that first place, and push to be the best team in the IML.
Yeah, so tune in this Wednesday. Watch that game
And
because
the
it will be
IML is
big.
the IML is really interesting this season because obviously it's only 4 weeks. That really makes every game count. There's only a total of what's 4
16?
weeks, eight
16
series.
games. Yeah, 8 series. 16-0
series.
if you want to go perfect.
Yep. So 8 series, and that's not a lot of series to you. So you have to really play good. With the second half of the season coming, these bottom, 4 teams, even Ground Play down there at the bottom, sitting with only 5 points, they can really make a push because, there's still points left on the table that no one's locked in their playoff spot yet, even though it is a pretty big gap difference. No one's completely locked, numerically yet. So
Yeah. Another thing to point out about IML is they do start a week later than the ICS starts back up. And what we'll be doing is we'll actually be expanding the IML. After we'll be expanding it probably to 8 teams. That's still pending, but probably to 8 teams. And so we'll actually be replacing it with 4 new teams because obviously the 2 teams moving up to the ICS and the 2 new teams. So there is an application on the site, on the Reddit, and on the actual website and other places for new teams that want to join the IML. So that's for April. So let me know or comment on that and get your application for that if you're interested in joining the IML. Here's one prediction that I want you guys to give. Who do you guys predict, besides Blue, because he hasn't been here, who do you predict, Scruffy, that will make it to the ICS?
Right now I'm going to say Exile and SLD.
Yeah.
Ground Play definitely looks strong. But if they can't take games off the top teams, then they won't be able to push through, obviously. And I think Team XL and SLD have already played Ground Play. I think they've won.
Yeah.
So that's my prediction. Obviously, things can change, and there's still half of a season left, so it'll be interesting seeing where it goes.
Yeah, I agree. Honestly, yeah, I'm just gonna kind of jump on that and say SOD and Exile as well. However, I'm really excited for Exile and SOD to make it because it seems like we have like 2 really good teams coming up in the ICS. I don't think these are going to be teams coming up and get like dominated. I think these are going to be 2 teams coming up and they'll actually compete in the ICS and they'll actually have a chance of winning. And I think they'll give the top teams a really big challenge. So it's kind of like we're having Origin type of team coming up. So we'll see, though. We'll see.
Blue's dying over here in the corner.
I know. I can see that. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I should have
All
let it
right,
out. All right.
you got it out. We let you get it out.
Thank you.
Blue. He's just chatting away with the Twitch chat.
Yeah, I'm
It's
just
gonna be
enjoying
bad.
Twitch chat over here. This has
It's
been a
gonna
lot
be
of fun.
bad when we put this on YouTube, and literally nobody's gonna know what you're laughing at. They're honestly just gonna. They're just
make
gonna
sure-
think you have like schizophrenia or something.
I'll post
It's
the chat in YouTube.
Why do we have a Zanbot? Why do he keeps kicking people, man? Everyone's
Hey,
getting kicked
because I
off.
just linked that. Come on, he deserved to be picked.
Yeah,
for
we
that one.
can't do any links and these excessive caps. Like, come on, who screams over the internet? Like, really? Use your inside voices, people.
Learn your manners.
All right,
internet manners.
let's get back on focus here and ignore Twitch chat for a second, Blue.
Yeah, let's do that. So, we already got through all this IML jazz. So what's coming after that? Next
What's
season?
next? Yeah.
What's next?
Yeah,
What's what we all want to know?
What's next in general? As far as just what's next from here, I guess, next week, obviously, so we will have our playoff series. One of them will be on the weekend, one of them will be on a Monday and Tuesday. So obviously our playoff series aren't like set in stone a date. Both teams have to agree on an actual time that they can play. So that's still being discussed, but right when it is finalized and discussed, we will be posting on the Reddit so you guys can all tune in there. Both games will not be at the same, or both series will not be at the same time, so they'll have their own separate streams, which I expect, believe you'll be streaming, because this is our main guy up here. Or no, over here. I don't know which direction I'm supposed to be pointing. That way. And also we do have, what was I about to say? Oh yeah, our championship most likely will be on the 5th or 6th, and that is for the cash prize. And we will also be announcing a league MVP. The award for that is still pending, so just wait on us. But it'll be a pretty sick award for the league MVP, which will be voted on after the season's done. So tune into that as well. And as far as IML, there's not much really going on. Again, they're mid-season. Their playoffs are in a couple weeks, so until then, we'll just tune in for the IML, which will be on Wednesday and Thursday. We'll see if we can have a casted stream. It might have to be a silent stream. We'll figure out all that stuff. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
I got some stuff. Hold on. So real fast.
Oh, just kidding.
I want to do a quick shout out to my fellow co-casters, if they're out there listening or hearing this, Luminiscus and Emperor Dan the Emperor. What is he? I don't know what he goes by.
Emperor Dan.
It's Emperor Dan. All right.
Sure.
Dan the Man,
We'll
the
go with
Emperor. Both cool guys, filling in the week and did some great commentary last week. I watched on my phone, and it was not the best experience, but we're getting there. It was a good time. And and shout outs to everybody who messages me in League individually. You're all cool guys.
That shout out. Wow.
Yeah.
Anyone who messages me in League.
Anyone who messaged me, hi to all of your mothers. Yeah, thank you for all that. And KRP, let's go out sometime. So that's all from me.
Wow, just slipping that in there, just gotta slip in the dating advice. We are also big news that we are looking at sponsor, which we won't reveal too much about, but just keep in the wings about the sponsor, or keep in the wings. That didn't make sense.
Yeah, that didn't make much sense. Be ready
Listening.
for it.
Be ready
It'll
for
be
it.
Cool.
It'll be really nice, and let's get a lot of support for them when they come. We don't want to say anything yet, but we will. And also, feel free to subscribe to our Twitter, which is all down there. Our YouTube, which is down, there, I think. But mine's actually backwards on here, right?
I think so. So we got on the right-hand
And
side.
technically it's diagonal.
YouTube, Reddit, Facebook, Twitter, all that jazz. Yeah, it's all that.
Yeah. So subscribe to that.
It's in the description.
It's in the description. Okay, cool. And one last thing I was about to say, and I totally forget. Oh yes, Sinofe, our site. Just to comment on that, our site. We are revamping our site. So everybody who's watching, we are looking at getting a new domain, getting a completely new site. So I know the one we're using right now sucks, and it's not being updated regularly. It's because honestly, it's just not the best platform to work with. So we are looking at a completely new domain. So just bear with us. And hopefully these guys can bear with me too, because they're just going nuts.
Blue, you're killing me when you read that comment.
Sorry, it's really these guys. They know me. They know how to get me. They can tickle my funny bone real hard. It's good stuff.
All right.
I always enjoy casting with you guys. This is the great Imperial esports community. Tell your friends. Get out here.
Yes.
Tell the mothers they need to start
We're
watching.
looking at doing this regularly, so let us know.
Yeah.
what you thought
Vote on
about
a
it.
name. Comment a name. I don't know if we should make them comment a name. They'll probably do something really troll. But
Mm-hmm.
need a name for this talk show that's not dank memes, 420, no scope, none of that stuff. We need like an actual name for our talk show. So if you can think of something that's not troll, comment or message one of us or something.
We'll
'Cause
make a
we're not.
Reddit
Yeah.
thread about it. Let's do that. We'll post
Yeah.
a Reddit thread.
Straw poll. No, wait, that's the
No, not
wrong.
straw poll. Yeah, just
I
comment.
don't know why I said that. All right, that's it.
Hey, look who it is. One last comment. What's up,
Addison. He'll watch this later and realize he got trash talked the whole time.
Yep. All right, we're out of here, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Peace.